Sets of data. One is the expatriate country rank and one is the happiness score. And we're told that we first of all need to find the upper quartile and then the interquartile range. So looking at this question, you should be already thinking or expecting it to probably go into a bivariate question, particularly a paper 2 question like this, where it's going to become a correlation or regression type question. So we're going to first of all go to our calculator. It's asked us for the upper quartile and interquartile range. So we're going to go to statistics and data. And I've typed in both sets of data there. We want to find it for the happiness score. So that is just this second set of data here, which in mine is list 2. So we go to statistics, calculations. It is only one variable at this point. We're just looking at list 2 and then trying to find the statistics on that. We do need to change this so that the calculator knows to look at list 2. Second function stat opens up the list options and we can change it to list 2 and then calculate. So it asks us for the upper quartile and the interquartile range. So the upper quartile there is 7.2. It's the Q3. So that's the first question. And then the interquartile range, which is going to be the upper quartile minus the lower quartile, which is 6.5. And that's going to give me 0.7 as the interquartile range. And then it says to show that Switzerland's happiness score is not an outlier for the data. So we can see with the data that Switzerland has a happiness score of 7.5, which is actually the largest happiness score on the question sheet. So we're just seeing if it's an outlier or if it's just a big score, but not too big. So the formula to find an outlier is in your formula book, but it's the interquartile range, so the 0.7, and you add that onto the upper quartile and take it off from the lower quartile. Because Switzerland has a high value, we only need to look at the upper quartile. So the upper quartile, 7.2, and we're going to add to that 1.5 times the interquartile range. So always 1.5 times the interquartile range, and that gives me a value of 8.25. So that means that anything above 8.25 is an outlier. Anything less than that is a big value, but not too big. Since Switzerland is 7.5, which is less than 8.25, therefore Switzerland is not an outlier. It is just a larger value. So Switzerland is not an outlier. And the next part of this question, we're told that the happiness scores were then ranked to calculate the Spearman's rank correlation. So at the moment we can see that the happiness score is an actual score. Looks like it might be out of 10. And they're now ranking it. So they've copied the happiness score for us again here from the previous table, and we just need to write down the values of the missing ranks. So we can see that Switzerland, we already decided, was the highest. So they've obviously started with the highest as rank 1. So the next highest there would be 7.4, which is the Netherlands, which is rank 2. And then the third highest is 7.2, but we actually have two 7.2s. They would normally be the third and then the fourth rank. So if it was the third and the fourth together, we go in the middle, which is 3.5. So we take the 3.5. So these are both 3.5. We've now used the fourth and we go on to the fifth, then the sixth, the seventh. The 8th would be this one here, 9th and 10th. So A is 3.5, B is 8, and C is also 3.5. And then we need to find Spearman's rank correlation. So for that, we now need to go back to our data. At the moment, we have the expat score and we have the happiness value, but we now need to change that to the happiness rank in order to find the Spearman's rank between the two. A lot of people on this question would go wrong by trying to find the Spearman's rank of this table here that they've given you on that page, but they are both happiness. So the Spearman's rank would just give you essentially almost 1 because you're ranking the same value with itself. Instead, we need to rank the expat rank with the happiness rank. So they're the two pieces of data that we need to type in. So we already had the happiness rank, and now we're going to type in the rank using what we've just found. So there's my ranked data set. And to find the Spearman's rank correlation, it's the same as finding Pearson's correlation. It's just that you type in the rank. So we do the calculations, linear regression, AX plus B. And you will need to check here because we were playing with them earlier. So second function stat, let's change that back to list 1. And now I have list 1 and list 2. And I can calculate my regression line. And I can see that my regression is 0.164. So that's really quite low correlation to 3 significant figures. So I'm just taking my R value there at the bottom. It doesn't actually ask for my regression line at this point. If France's happiness score was upgraded to 6.9, would R change? So France is just here. The reason it wouldn't change is even if that was 6.9, it would still be rank 6. It's still between rank 7, which is 6.6, which is here, and rank 8, which is 6.5. So anything between those values is, rank 5 is here, 7. So anything between 6.6 and 7 is still going to place France as rank 6. So it doesn't change its rank. And then Jose concludes that the data from the countries with high happiness are likely to be favourite expat countries. And we need to state whether that is an appropriate conclusion. So the high expat countries, he's suggesting should be the higher happiness rank. That means that there would be a positive correlation. So a higher of one would give a higher of the other. However, our correlation, yes, it is positive, but it's very, very low. So that suggests that actually the data is sort of all over the place, and therefore we can't come to that conclusion at all. So it's not appropriate. And the reason that it's not appropriate is that RS, the Spearman's rank correlation coefficient, or the Spearman's rank correlation, is too low. It suggests that we just can't draw any conclusions because there's not really any relationship found. So the marks for this question, the first one is 1 mark for the, 2 marks for the upper value, and then 2 marks, one of which would be for your calculation for your interquartile range. And then there is 3 marks here. One is for correctly doing the 1.5 times. One is for finding the 8.25, and then one is for the reasoning with the answer. You have 1 mark each for finding the correct rank, and then you have 2 marks for finding the correct Spearman's rank, and 1 for explaining the change in order for France. And then at the end there's 1 mark, but it's only if it's given with a reason. So you need to give the reason as well as the answer.